click on my share. Okay. Let me see if I do this correctly here. All right. All right. And I think I am on here.
Next to the share button, it says slideshow.
Yeah, and there we go. The picture was in the way, so something was a little goofy, which is fine. Well, first of all, thank you everyone for jumping on and joining us for a riveting night of executive functioning talk. You know, I know when a lot of people, when we start talking executive functioning, it's like, you know, it's what are they talking about? What does that mean? So, you know, we hope that this is going to be an informative night. But more importantly here, we hope that you guys are able to walk away with a number of tools or strategies to work with your kids, because that's the most important thing is, you know, how can we interact as a school, but also support you guys in our efforts to help develop this skill within our kids. So we'll do some introductions first, so you know who we are. I know we have the labels on all of our pictures anyways, but we'll do it regardless. So my name is Brandon Peterson, and I'm the assistant principal at West Oak Middle School.
And I'm Casey Littell. I'm the special education teacher at West Oak Intermediate School.
Y yo soy la señora Gómez y soy la maestra de cuarto grado dual y la traductora esta noche.
All right, excellent here. Okay, so we'll get started here, and the first question is what is executive functioning? And really, those are any of our functional and self-regulation skills. You know, it just allows us to function like young adults or as adults here. You know, and it includes the ability to plan, to focus, to organize, to offer, you know, to be able to do multiple tasks at one time and prioritize. So it's all those skills that help to make somebody, you know, a productive and organized, so to speak. We use these skills every day to learn, grow, and manage life. And this is a process that starts around, we'll get into the age here in just a little bit, but about 5 years old, all the way into the lower to middle 20s. So it's a process. But as you guys can see, the diagram here to your right, it involves a number of cognitive functions that include here about 10 different ones. So you guys can kind of look at that here. But working memory, self-monitoring, which means is, you know, I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Like I said, planning, prioritizing, task initiation. You know, it's so easy for our kids to procrastinate, and you know, I would say at times here I would be guilty as well. But organization, impulse control. You know, I have 3 sons on my own here, 8, 6, and 4, and the impulse control is there. It's real. So you know, that is a skill that is learned throughout their childhood and into adulthood. Emotional control, and then also that flexible thinking outside the box, listening to other people's perspectives. So this is kind of a diagram here. There's a lot going on with it, but I think it kind of gives us a good idea of the progression of maturity here and the attainment of executive functioning skills. So, you know, as I said here, my children are in that 8 to younger area. So the impulse control, the inability to manage their emotions. I have 3 boys, but we got a lot of emotions. But as you progress here, there's a general sequence of events that happens. You know, right when they get to be about teenagers, there's what we call a gender crossover, where typically boys have a higher levels of attention capacity from 11 to 13, but this changes here and it flips. But we can see there's certain developmental spurts, you know, throughout, but it's right up until, you know, right until about the time that the teenage years start. And as you can see that diagram, it just continues off into their 20 years old. with the pandemic and us being remote, these are skills that were kind of pushed back just because kids just haven't been able to interact with each other and interact with teachers and help them manage those skills. So, some of our kids have definitely been delayed in regards to their progression of executive functioning skills. So trends that we are seeing in our district, and me and Ms. Littell put this together, and we were seeing the same things at the middle school as she was seeing it in grades 3 through 5. But kids that have higher executive functioning skills, in general, are more successful in school. They're more organized. They're more on top of their studies. They're able to manage, I'm not done with my math assignment, so I need to make sure I do that tonight, or I need to ask more questions. So, all those things relate to being more successful in school, higher test scores, better grades. These are the kids that, some of our kids will get off the bus and they just have stuff falling off of them because, nothing is in the bag or the bag's not shut. And it looks like chaos in motion, which it's something we're working with our kids on. So obviously the punctuality is affected when students are not organized. There's items being lost. We have homework that's not being completed. So these are all things that kids that have higher executive functioning skills, they have less occurrences of this. And then also the improved interactions with their peers, especially with that emotional regulation and those impulsivity control efforts as well.
Okay, do you want me to kick in or?
Oh, yes, please.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry,
so
I can't see faces here, so I apologize here, Ms. Gomez.
No. Okay, so esta noche vamos a estar hablando sobre las habilidades para el funcionamiento ejecutivo y a lo mejor tienen algunas preguntas sobre qué es. Estas habilidades o destrezas son procesos de la mente que nos ayudan a organizarnos, enfocarnos, recordar instrucciones y manejar varias tareas. Utilizamos estas destrezas a diario para aprender, trabajar y manejarnos todos los días. Le vamos a llamar EFS por sus insignias en inglés, pero vamos a comenzar a hablar sobre el desarrollo. Y esto empieza desde nuestra infancia, más o menos como a los 5 años, y continúa durante todo el desarrollo de una persona hasta más o menos por medio de los 20. Así es que, ¿qué sucede durante el desarrollo de estas habilidades? Es generalmente cuando un estudiante tiene o ha desarrollado estas habilidades de una manera progresiva, generalmente tiene más éxito en la escuela, tiene mayores promedios dentro de sus grados, es más puntual, pierde menos cosas, dura menos tiempo para hacer los trabajos, el comportamiento, aunque sucede, es normal, pero tienen menos problemas en comportamiento y su interacción con otros niños de su misma edad se va desarrollando de alguna manera. Ahora, también sabemos que durante este tiempo algunos niños han perdido un poco de esa socialización con otros alumnos, y es por eso que como distrito quisiéramos apoyarlos y ver la manera cómo apoyar a los niños y a ustedes para darles algunas estrategias y destrezas, datos para que puedan reconocer o apoyarlos durante este desarrollo.
All right, very nice, thank you. And I'll do a better job of segmenting what I'm saying. All right, so thank you for staying with us here. Thank you, Ms. Gomez. All right. So, and obviously kids that have difficulty with this, and every student is we just see a wide array of wide spectrum of ability levels. Some are a little further along that curve, as we saw before. Others are, like I said here, stunted, or still learning it, still in the process of it, but also we're set back, I think, due to a lot of time being at home trying to struggle with this remote learning, because there's a lot of kids that definitely did struggle with that, but having trouble starting and completing tasks. Prioritization is an issue, forgetting what they've heard, what they've read, what they've done. All those things are issues that kids that are still in the process of learning these executive functioning skills are needing. But they have difficulty with change, or from switching from one thing to another, and then they also have this ability, the ability or the inability to move past something once they're emotionally invested. They fixate on certain things, and it's hard for them to get over that hump. And obviously organization and keeping track of their belongings are all things that kids that are struggling with executive functioning skills are doing. So then now we're going to get after this, we're going to get into what we're doing at the school, but then Ms. Littell is going to get into how you guys can support your children as well.
Okay. Entonces, algunos detalles que suceden cuando los niños tienen o están desarrollando estas habilidades pueden ser que el tiempo que duran para empezar o completar algunas tareas, algunos niños tienen dificultad para poner en orden, organizar estas tareas, olvidan lo que acaban de leer o lo que acaban de escuchar. También tienen dificultad seguir instrucciones o una secuencia de pasos, se estresan sobre las reglas y algunas rutinas cuando hay un cambio. También tienen dificultad en el manejo del enfoque de una cosa a otra. Otros de los detalles es que se ponen muy emocionales cuando algo les sucede, duran más tiempo para poder seguir adelante. Tienen dificultad en organizar sus pensamientos, o para sus cosas personales tienen dificultad mantener sus cosas personales organizadas o con ellos mismos.
All right, thank you. All right, so I definitely wanted to offer a few disclaimers here before we continue. But if kids have difficulty with executive functioning skills, it doesn't. I could see where parents would automatically jump to, well, does he or she have a disability? Do I need to have him or her assessed for special ed services or a certain learning disability? That is not the case here. It's just common for people to think that differently, act differently, learn differently. We have a number of ways that everybody learns, and it doesn't mean just because they aren't able to read and comprehend as well as the next person doesn't mean that they have a disability. They have different strengths in different areas. Also, what needs to be said though is people diagnosed with ADHD, or the full acronym for that is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, have trouble with these skills, but to varying degrees. So it's not just you have it, you don't. It's a wide spectrum of attainment here throughout their childhood and into adulthood. And trouble with executive functioning doesn't mean your child is lazy. It doesn't mean it's a lack of intelligence either. So there's a few. It's easy to assume certain things when it's like, oh, why did you not remember this, or how did you lose this again? None of those things. Laziness, intelligence, there being a potential learning disability don't come into effect with this.
También quisiéramos hablar tomar en cuenta que algunas de estas destrezas se van desarrollando, no porque su hijo o hija tenga, no se pueda organizar o tenga alguna dificultad, significa que tiene un detalle o un alto en su desarrollo. Así es que queremos aclarar que los niños están en desarrollo y todos piensan y aprenden a un nivel diferente. Tampoco lo que vamos a decir es para diagnosticar o ayuda a diagnosticar a un niño con deficiencia o hiperactividad. Así es que queremos expresar que hay una variedad incluso para los niños que tienen eh, esta, ah, que están diagnosticados, ah, se necesita, tienen diferentes niveles de destrezas. También, esto también no indica que su hijo es flojo o le falta inteligencia, simplemente está en desarrollo.
All right. Thank you. So, we saw this, and, like with everything, a skill is to be learned. And that is why we are here as well, not only to educate our kids academically, but help them, give them life skills so they can be productive and successful as they move through their school and into life. And when our kids leave 8th grade, we want them to be successful and have the right tools in their toolbox to take that next step into high school. So it's just all a process, and we at District 76 are committed to that. So this was an idea that was floated out and presented out to our Board of Education, and our board said, yeah, this is important, and we felt that way too, and it blossomed, and it definitely became something that we felt, at the intermediate school, and then also the middle school, that we could do, and we could start teaching our kids, and hopefully catch them up too with some of the time that we've lost with them. So we have all rolled this out to varying degrees, and Casey, I'm going to ask you to kind of give us an idea of where we're at here with the intermediate school. But there are, we are looking at giving out lessons. In the meantime here, I'm trying to think of the exact date. I believe it was the 10th of January. I think it was that week of the 10th. We handed out all of our binders. So each student, to help them stay organized, that part of the executive functioning piece of the pie there, each student received a binder. They received 8 folders for each one of their classes. We have 9 periods in a day, but we have lunch, obviously, and a pencil case. In each binder, it was all they were all numbered, and they're all color coded. So each student received the period 1 is the same color, and there was a little label on there that says period 1, and then on the inside it says homework and classwork. So so kids are able to stay organized, and you really rolling this out midway through the year, I think everyone was a little nervous. But we had a couple of staff members put together a little video. Students were able to assemble those binders, and really, walking through the hallways, you see most kids carrying those, and they are carrying less stuff. They are needing to go to their lockers less, because their items are in one spot. They're not looking, at the bottom of their locker, which can be a train wreck, or in the bottom of their book bag and digging that stuff out. It's just all right there in that 3-ring binder. But what we're looking at is in regards to organizational skills in the areas of they have their agenda in that binder. We also put a locker list up in regards to, hey, period 1, I need my if I have PE, I need my gym shoes, my shirt, my shorts, and maybe my Chromebook. Period 2, okay, I have math class. I need to bring my math workbook. I need to bring my Chromebook. I need to bring my binder. So it really, we really make it succinct in regards to each period. This is what we need. And then also we're looking at regularly cleaning out and organizing their lockers, their binders, Any loose pieces of paper that they don't need, we discard them. And then also their Google Drive, their emails. Some of our kids have thousands of emails in their inbox. It's pretty impressive, but these are things that down the line we're looking to help them stay organized, to set up folders, and just be able to find stuff when they need it.
Okay. Entonces, como distrito tenemos un plan que se ha ido desarrollando. En algunos de los edificios empezaron en este mes, aproximadamente como el 10 de enero, y ha cambiado o es diferente de edificio a edificio. Incluye los niños de los grados de segundo a octavo, y es una junta que tenemos 1 o 2 veces por semana. Cada estudiante recibió en la escuela West Oak una carpeta grande, 8 carpetas individuales de diferentes colores y una bolsa de lápiz. Algunas de las destrezas para organizarse son en las áreas de las agendas, su canciller, estas carpetas, y dentro de su Google Drive, por ejemplo, sus correos electrónicos. Si es que se les ha estado apoyando durante estas últimas semanas para que vayan desarrollando este plan y empiecen el proceso de organización.
All right, thank you. So this is kind of our general makeup of our basically our scope and sequence of what we're looking to teach our kids this year. This is at the middle school, and I know we've gotten a little bit more in depth with this. The intermediate school, it's I think still in the process of planning and then also rolling out their binders. But just to kind of give you an idea of the different themes, I'm not going to go through each one, but material management, using their planner, the classroom structure, time management, goal setting, and then applied student skills. So all these things, we felt as though they were important, not only to be successful in school, but also, like we said, those adult skills as well.
Esta es parte de la secuencia que se está usando en West Oak, y es, por ejemplo, cómo manejar sus materiales, cómo agendar, cómo estructurar la clase, cómo organizar su tiempo, cómo hacer y mantener metas y cómo aplicar estas destrezas en el estudio.
All right, excellent. All right, so the district-wide routine, we're going to be looking at, like I said before, the binder checks, organizing their Google Drives, cleaning up their email, the agenda check. We checked about locker clean out, grade checks, and then also we have a SMART goals as well. So we're using the Rush Executive Functioning Curriculum.
Entonces, igual a distrito completo, estas serán algunas de las rutinas que se van a hacer. Es revisar las carpetas, organizar sus documentos dentro de las carpetas, tirar algunas cosas innecesarias, limpiar sus correos, agendar, limpiar su canciller, revisar sus útiles, revisar sus grados y una meta SMART, que es un proceso de reflexión. Que si tienen más preguntas podrían comunicarse con alguno de nosotros para explicarles con más detalle.
Yep. All right. Perfect here. Okay. So I'm gonna hand it over to Miss Littell. Then she's going to talk a little bit about the brain function behind this, and also the brain development, and then also give most importantly, give you guys tools on how you could support your children with their executive functioning skill level attainment. So Ms. Littell, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Right, well, thank you for the introduction. So yes, most important is to know the brain functions related to executive functioning skills. So three main areas is working memory, mental flexibility, and self-control. And each type of those executive functioning skills draws on elements of the other. So as kids in that diagram that Brandon showed earlier, as the brain grows and they work on these skills, the more that they learn and grow.
Okay. Algunos de los funcionamientos circuitos cerebrales relacionados con EFS son memoria operativa, la flexibilidad mental y el autocontrol. Estos son únicamente algunos tipos de destrezas de funcionamiento ejecutivo de los cuales nosotros vamos a estar hablando y aprendiendo.
Part of executive functioning is controlling of your emotions. So definitely academic struggles do intersect with, having emotional struggles and stress. Executive functioning skills are very important to help students with those academic struggles. And, emotional control is very important, not only just for academics, but for their executive functioning skills as they progress through school and into life.
Parte de este funcionamiento ejecutivo es el control emocional y es esa interacción entre lo académico y el estrés emocional. También es el funcionamiento ejecutivo y las destrezas y cómo se enlazan por el estrés o cómo se desarrollan o falta de desarrollo por el estrés. Y también ese control emocional es clave para este funcionamiento ejecutivo.
Here's just another diagram, an example about brain functions and how they all intersect with one another as, your child's brain will progress and grow.
Y estas son algunas de las otras funciones del estrés de neurociencia, la corteza cerebral, cómo pensamos de manera abstracta, cómo resolvemos problemas de lenguaje, coordinación, el sistema limbático, las emociones, la agresión, motivación, instintos, memoria, formación, movimiento, reflexión, y igual el control de esa cortisona y que nos ayuda también a el aumento del pulso, de la presión sanguínea, y el desarrollo de los músculos, de la circulación, función de nuestras destrezas, flexibilidad de nuestro pensamiento y ayuda también en el funcionamiento de las destrezas y cómo practicamos y pensamos.
So here's the definition of what mindfulness is. Not only is executive functionings related to academics and emotional control, it's also about mindfulness and accepting of your own feeling, thoughts, and bodily sensations, and using a therapeutic technique to help support themselves, which I will go into when we move on with the presentation.
Y estaremos hablando sobre este pensamiento crítico y mindfulness es esa técnica terapéutica que nos ayuda a mantener ese estado mental enfocado, presente, tomando en cuenta y aceptando nuestros pensamientos, nuestras emociones y lo que estamos sintiendo en nuestro cuerpo en ese momento.
So mindfulness techniques need to be intentional, non-judgmental. And when they say whole person, your mind, body, and spirit need to be involved. I know it may sound goofy to some students and while you do it, but it's really beneficial for helping calm your body to make yourself emotionally ready and emotionally ready to be academic ready and using those executive functioning skills.
Parte de estas técnicas son intencionales sin juzgar, pensando en la persona completamente, la mente, el cuerpo, el espíritu. Para algunas personas se puede oír un poquito o a algunos de los estudiantes les da risa, pero la realidad es ayuda a calmarlos y prepararlos para estar enfocados y presentes en ese momento y relajados y dispuestos para aprender.
So some techniques you can do, one is the diaphragm breathing. It's a great stress response to help keep you calm and relaxed, and it helps with the nervous system and encourages the body to relax.
Uno de estos ejemplos es respirar con el diafragma y es para cuando un estudiante está estresado, ayuda a reducir. Si estamos pensando, estamos conscientes que estamos respirando con el diafragma. También cuando están respirando con el abdomen, ayuda a controlar el sistema nervioso y ayuda al cuerpo a relajarse.
Another one is muscle relaxation. So when your body is physically relaxed, your mind cannot cognitively stress when your body is physically relaxed, the mind cannot be cognitively stressed or emotionally distressed. So practicing these mindful and relaxation skills can eliminate muscle fatigue. It can eliminate, those emotional regulation areas. So focusing on that relaxation is physically will help you mentally.
Otra estrategia es relajar los músculos y ayuda en las áreas psicológicas y de comportamiento. Entonces, un ejemplo, cuando inhalan, exhalan o están relajados, les ayuda a su cuerpo, a todos los músculos del cuerpo, a los grupos de músculo del cuerpo, a organizarse. Estos movimientos repetitivos ayudan a disminuir la fatiga muscular. También cuando el cuerpo está relajado, la mente no se puede estresar o puede sentir algún estrés emocional.
So some executive functionings that you focus on are your self-awareness, inhibition, nonverbal working memory, verbal working memory, that emotional self-regulation, self-motivation, planning and problem solving, which is what Brandon did highlight as what we are going to be teaching students through our executive functioning skills program, but this also highlights some areas that you can also focus on at home.
Estos son algunos funcionamientos ejecutivos que vamos a estar trabajando o que usted también puede estar trabajando en casa. Por ejemplo, estar atentos a sí mismo, esa memoria que no pensamos, por ejemplo, nos levantamos, despertamos, nos levantamos de la cama. Un ejemplo, si la maestra está hablando, inmediatamente tener un lápiz. Esos son trabajos de memoria que no tenemos que, ¿verdad?, pensar o hablar mucho. Sabemos. Algunos, esa memoria que sí necesita esa comunicación, la regulación de emociones independientes, la motivación personal, agendar y resolver problemas.
So enforce accountability at home. A lot of parents, wonder about accountability and how is that appropriate. So some steps you can follow is not excuse a student from accountability. If anything, make them more accountable. Show that you have faith in their abilities and expecting them to do what they need to do. We enforce this at school, but giving them that love and accountability and encouragement will go a long way.
Entonces, igual apoyar a los niños a tomar en cuenta sus responsabilidades. Muchos papás piensan que es lo más apropiado. Pasos a seguir es ayudar a su hijo con este funcionamiento ejecutivo. Los primeros pasos es no hacer excusas para ellos cuando están tomando esta responsabilidad. Cualquier cosa que los haga más responsables o más atentos, mostrarles que uno tiene fe en ellos, en sus habilidades, que espera que él o ella haga lo que necesita hacer.
Another skill you can work on with your child at home is writing things down for practicing working memory. You know, this can be on note cards, signs, sticky notes, lists, journals, posters, random scraps of paper, so that your child can actually see the information in front of them. It's much more easier to remember it once it's written down, and instead of just thinking about it, it helps build the working memory and also kind of solidifies things on paper that rather than the head.
Entonces, otra estrategia es escribir las cosas. Esto ayuda a esa memoria que sigue trabajando y ayuda a esas deficiencias también. Cuando tiene la información visible en tarjetas, papeles, hojas, libretas, en listas, agendas, cuando uno ve la información enfrente, es mucho más fácil desarrollar este funcionamiento ejecutivo y ayuda a esa memoria que sigue desarrollándose y trabajando.
So talking about time, looking at clocks, timers, counters, apps. There's so many apps on the phone or iPad that you can count down or get on your iPad, just to help your child see how much time has passed, how much is left, you know, so that children can take accountability of, you know, taking actions of, okay, well, I have so much time to eat before I need to leave to go to soccer practice. Okay, at soccer practice, I have this much time afterwards to take a shower and then go straight to bed, so I have a good night's sleep before I wake up for school. So some of these time practices will help you and your child or children to set these boundaries at home.
Entonces, otra estrategia es tomar el tiempo. Tomar el tiempo les ayuda a tener conciencia, perdón, algunos de los instrumentos que se pueden usar son relojes, aplicaciones, relojes en el teléfono, y esto les ayuda a los niños a ver cuánto tiempo ha pasado, cuánto tiempo falta, a ver qué tan rápido pasa el tiempo y cómo poder agendar o ver dónde queda ese tiempo que no vemos. Por ejemplo, cuando van a práctica de fútbol o salen afuera, cuánto tiempo tiene que pasar para que se vayan a esa práctica. Cuando salen de la práctica, cuánto tiempo pasa de la práctica a que se tengan que bañar o arreglar o se vayan a dormir. Entonces, entre más su hijo o hija está viendo esta contabilidad o este tiempo que pasa y lo está agendando y está tomando en cuenta, se hace más responsable y empieza a medir de una manera más productiva su tiempo.
Another one is offering rewards. Make motivation really exciting. Someone that struggles with executive functioning skills may have trouble motivating themselves to complete tasks. Providing students or your child with immediate rewards, such as, you know, initiating that time management skill that we were just talking about, giving them a token system so that they are able to feel accountable and happy that they were able to do these skills at home, or maybe a daily report card, however you want to do it at home, to show that you know, appreciate what they're doing, that they get these motivations so that they continue to work on these skills, not only at school, but it's a motivation at home.
Entonces, otra estrategia es ofrecerles alguna recompensa. Y eso ayuda a los estudiantes que todavía están en el desarrollo de este funcionamiento ejecutivo a motivarlos. Algunas personas tienen dificultad, así es que puede ser algo tan sencillo como una hoja, algunas monedas que guste usar, algún tipo de reporte. Sabemos de antemano que entre más uno les repita las cosas positivas que ellos están haciendo o metas de a largo plazo, corto plazo, y que haya una recompensa, aunque sea pequeña, palabras, alguna cosa, eso los motiva a los estudiantes también a crear estos hábitos y a motivarse ellos mismos.
Make learning hands-on at home. So make anything physical as much as possible. A lot of kids not only just learn, through writing things down or watching things, but being physical as well. Teach simple things as adding or utilizing a word magnet to help sentence structure. You could easily put those on the fridge, buy those little magnets at the Dollar Tree or Target. That will help them with their verbal and nonverbal memories and their executive functioning skills with making things more hands-on, especially if those students may have a harder time with speaking, or some of the younger students who may not have the correct vocabulary just yet to support the wonderful things you're doing at home.
Otra estrategia es que los niños utilicen sus manos, ¿verdad? Entonces esto ahora sí que dice, pon los problemas en sus manos. Ayúdenles a resolver cuando ellos están haciendo cualquier actividad más física. Para algunos de los niños les ayuda a desarrollar esas estrategias de una manera mejor. Por ejemplo, si se pone a contar frijoles, empieza a hablar bloques, compra estos imanes para el refrigerador donde están creando palabras. Los niños empiezan a reconocer este trabajo verbal y no verbal dentro de sus memorias, y también ayuda a incrementar esta función ejecutiva o el proceso de la misma.
And a part of all that is you need to have self-regulation skills. Self-regulation is where you're able to calm down enough to where you're able to understand what's going on around you and able to communicate clearly. If you don't have those self-regulation skills, it does affect your executive functioning skills when you're taking a test or when you're taking a quiz or just understanding any of your work while at school. A good way to refuel is to have frequent breaks during tasks. Breaks can be 3 to 10 minutes long, and it can be something physical or where you're moving around, or you can, practice those mindfulness and breathing exercises to calm them down, whatever works best for your child.
Otra de las cosas que se puede hacer es tomar el tiempo, parar, decirle a su hijo o hija, tomar esos 3 a 10 minutos donde ellos tienen que parar cualquier actividad que ellos están haciendo para tomar en cuenta el momento, el espacio en donde ellos están. Esto ayuda a ese equilibrio independiente y a incrementar este funcionamiento ejecutivo, limitándoles las cantidades y dándoles tiempo para que ellos puedan hacer estas transiciones de una cosa a otra, por más pequeño que sea el tiempo. Porque cuando nosotros estamos haciéndoles un examen o algo, intentamos darles un tiempo para relajarse, respirar, estar conscientes dónde están. Entonces, todas estas estrategias los ayudan a ellos a tomar en cuenta lo que están haciendo, reenfocarse y tener esa motivación y poder seguir adelante. Así es que estos descansos pequeños y frecuentes les ayudan a ellos a sentirse presentes en lo que están haciendo, bien sea una tarea o distraerlos, ¿verdad? De alguna otra cosa que estén haciendo para que puedan volver al trabajo o a la actividad que ellos están haciendo.
All
Along with motivation, also there's talking. So, like before a big game, there's always some sort of pep talk. Your child needs that as well. Pump up a simple, you can do this, I believe in you, a simple statement, maybe as they leave the car or before they go on the bus. These positive self-statements help push kids harder and also know that they are supported not only at school and at home, but from those that they love and care for, helping them visualizing their success so that they can accomplish goals and develop simple goal setting at home so that they're successful doing some simple tasks at home and then also at school.
Otra estrategia es hablar con sus hijos de una manera positiva. Les ayuda bastante durante su día. Sabemos que cuando se les habla de una manera positiva, los niños se motivan, trabajan más duro. Cuando les dicen, estás a un paso más cerca de lograr tus metas, todo esto les ayuda a visualizar su éxito.
All right, another area is getting physical. One exercise is great for the brain. It boosts your child's executive functioning as well. So just doing some routine things. I know at school, there's a lot of brain breaks where there's a lot of physical activity. You can do a lot of things. I know that there's different programs on Netflix that you can use, or even YouTube. You can search, any exercise activities that are short or longer. Make that part of your activities at home, even if it's a short walk around the block or some jumping jacks outside or play dates, but it's really good for them to get physical to continue those brain functions.
Otra estrategia es ejercicio físico. Hay varias aplicaciones, YouTube, o únicamente caminar alrededor de la cuadra, pero ahorita como está muy frío, a lo mejor ayudarles a saltar un poco en casa, caminar un poco en casa, hacer algún estiramiento. Sabemos que hacer una rutina algunas veces por semana y esta actividad física les ayuda también a ellos a sentirse mejor.
One other area is sipping on sugar. It's a good idea to have them sip on some sugar fluids or like lemonade or a sports drink just to give them a little extra boost. And it helps your child's blood glucose go up enough to get, the job done.
Otra estrategia, por más extraña que se escuche, es tomar un poco de azúcar. Sabemos que a veces algunos de los niños necesitan nada más este pequeño apoyo de energía o un poquito de motivación, ¿verdad? Para poderse mover. Entonces puede ser algo tan sencillo como una bebida con tantita azúcar.
And most importantly, show compassion, show what they can do and what they know. This, your child is learning, and showing that compassion and understanding what went well and what went wrong, and continuing to work with them on helping them learn from mistakes.
Otra estrategia es mostrar compasión. Sabemos que si ellos están conscientes, si pueden entender que hicieron algo o que se equivocaron, ayudarles a aprender de estos errores y mostrarles compasión les ayuda a ellos a desarrollarse mucho mejor.
All right. I'm going to stop presenting here in just a moment, but I just wanted to offer our viewers to ask any questions that you would like. There's also a short survey that we asked you guys to complete. Really this year we've really taken taken a precedence with the SEL committee about, offering these topics and these presentations. And we're just really looking forward to your feedback and how to make things better. Like I said, this is our first run at it. And we know we can get better at it. So if you would be so kind here to complete it's a 3-question survey. It would take about 1 minute of your time. So if you could please do that, we would all appreciate it. But I'm going to stop sharing at this time, just so that we can see some faces again. And then, we're looking for, if you have any questions at all, either for me or Ms. Littell. And like I said here, thank you for sticking with us here this long. I know it was a lot of information, but we're hoping that it was some information that you could definitely use and apply to your families. Could you translate that for us here, Ms. Gomez?
Let's see. I don't see.
No, can you translate what I just said?
Oh, yeah. Sí, por favor, pueden llenar la encuesta. Son únicamente 3 preguntas. Sabemos que esta es la primera vez que nosotros estamos haciendo una actividad de esta índole, así es que su apoyo se agradece. Cualquier otra pregunta se pueden hablar con Mr. Brandon o Ms. Littell con mucho gusto.
All right.
O conmigo.
So I see one question. Any tips for parents who struggle with executive functioning on how they can create consistency in helping their children develop those skills? I'm sure I could come up with. I have a few things that I could touch upon, but Casey, would you like to start that? And I don't want to double dip here, but would you like to answer that, or would you like me to?
I mean, we both can if you want to start, since you have some ideas.
All right. Well,
on there.
And Miss Sullivan here, we although we put this together and we're teaching these certain skills to our kids, we don't have all the answers, and I by far am not a perfect parent whatsoever. So I'll preface my answer with that. But I always err on the side of consistency and positivity. Consistency between you and the other parent, but also being positive and building your kids up. It's so easy for kids to get discouraged, and there's a lot of ways that kids, as we're trying to teach these things, can get down on themselves with some of the things that are going on and with what they're learning.
And to build upon that, some things you can do at home is some simple things is watching your schedule. Maybe putting it on a whiteboard or somewhere that your child can see and be in charge of everyone, the whole family schedule or their individual schedule, so that they can practice those time management skills, as well as watching and organizing their day or week or month or whatever it is that you're working towards, so that they can practice those skills, because when they get older, they're going to be doing exactly what you're putting on that calendar. So that's something that you can practice at home.
Yeah, and if I could jump in one last time, what has helped, I know with my boys is, let's say the toy room is an absolute disaster. Giving out roles. All right, so my oldest one's Braden. Braden, you're in charge of the Army guys. William, you're in charge of the monster trucks, and Anthony, you're in charge of the balls. And by doing that, they all know what it takes for them to finish up. But if you give them a task of, hey, clean up everything, all right, then one starts yelling at the other one, and the other one is pretending like they're doing something, and they're not doing anything. So assigning roles, being specific with that. Also, what I have found within our family is time, like Casey just mentioned. Our kids can be just taking their time eating and giving them, okay, guys, you have 5 minutes left, and you start the Alexa or the timer. Hey, Alexa, you got 5 minutes to finish eating, or else you don't get dessert. And don't get in those power struggles with them, because typically they want to complain and, oh my, I can't eat this, and they're trying to get a reaction out of us old people here, us parents, and just not engaging in those power struggles and giving them a choice. All right, you can do this or you can do that. And then just kind of leave it at that and just let them know, hey, you're being timed, and eventually that choice is going to be taken away from you. So that would be my suggestions with that question. All right. Thank you there, Mr. Preble. Ms. Angarola, thank you as well. Appreciate the feedback. Any other questions?
¿Alguna pregunta?
All right. Well, as I said before, you guys are an amazing audience. Thank you for joining us today. And we want to reiterate, we're all on the same team. We want what's best for your child just as much as you do. And if you ever need anything on our side, I mean, feel free to reach out, to your school, to your principal, to your home, your child's homeroom teacher. We're all happy to help, and we want to support you and your child in any way we can. But thank you for joining us today, and have a good night.